Stop the press! Adam Ife has destroyed the globe!
But this footage today, and what we've got with I'm going to show you in a minute, not only is going to prove there's no curve, we're going to destroy the globe argument.
Yes, it's me, Simon Dan, and I am back again on this fantastic Flat Earth Friday, taking on Mr. Ife for a second time. A few weeks ago I made a video that showed his lack of understanding when it came to elevation and curve. He didn't take it well. If you haven't seen it yet, please pause this video and go check it out. Link is in the description. Almost immediately he made a response. Here is his opening.
Well, Simon Dan, the globe deceptive clown.
His frustrations were not because I debunked him, but more because I'd apparently deleted his comments that contained a link to his observational video that he believes destroys the globe. Comments that I pinned. Comments that we somehow had dialogue on, despite the fact I'd deleted them. I want to make it abundantly clear, unless there is racism or vulgar language, I do not delete comments. So, because Adam became so butthurt that no one would see his video, I thought I'd share it with all my subscribers and anyone else who might want to see it. Of course, we'll completely rip it apart in the process. Adam, let's see what you got.
This is a quick review of some footage I took on the Bristol Channel on Sunday. My location was the Black Nor Lighthouse, just outside Portishead. I'm looking up the Bristol Channel towards Gloucester. First bridge, second bridge. I think 11 miles.
After some research, I can confirm that the first bridge in the foreground is the Prince of Wales Bridge, and the second bridge behind it is the Severn Bridge.
But what's really interesting is this building here. Took me a while to suss out, hunt it down, find out what it is. But take a note of its unusual shape, the tower. It's like a tower block, but with like an extra bit at the front that's taller. An unusual tower block. But it almost steps up at the front. I need to see that, yeah? Take note of that.
Noted. So far, so good.
Now, like I said, it took me a while to figure out what building that is and find it. Turns out it's Sharpness Docks, and that's one of the warehouses at Sharpness Docks. The nice lady there, when I rang up, told me that building's 65 metres tall.
Okay, first important point. I can confirm this. 65 metres is 213 feet. I asked some nice people on the Sharpness Docks Facebook group how tall it was, and they said about 200 feet. Remember this.
So we got that as a reference as well. Before we put that through the Earth's curve calculator. But this footage today, and what we've got with I'm going to show you in a minute, not only is going to prove there's no curve, we're going to destroy the globe argument of refraction, where this ridiculous argument where this image is refracted and projected back round the curve to give the impression the Earth is flat, but really it's not, it's a ball. It's just nonsense. But we're going to prove that is what it is, just utter fucking nonsense.
So, you have done what no other flat earther has been able to do, completely disprove the globe with some observations. Maybe I should serve up a slice of humble pie and get it ready to go.
So yeah, all it is, I'm going to play the footage very shortly, and it's just me. You can see the building, and I'm going to be zooming out in a minute and basically panning all the way out back to my location, showing the lighthouse and showing the nautical training school next to it as well. To give my location basically. Now I'm just going to show you a couple of images of where we are. And this is the building. Sorry, there's the building. Obviously, notice the distinguished tower. Okay. Now this turns out to be what it is. This building here, which is Sharpness Docks. Obviously, you can see the Bristol Channel just here on the background, and this is the inlet for the docks. And obviously, I don't know, grain store or whatever it was, but you can quite clearly see. This is the building. That's a really unusual building, yeah, with that step up, almost like that extra tier. So undoubtedly, unmistakably, that is the building.
I've got no problem whatsoever with that assumption. I concur that the building you can see is this concrete silo in Sharpness Docks.
Okay, let me show you my location. Here's here. This is the Black Nor Lighthouse. Let me just zoom out so you can see that properly. This is the Blacknor Lighthouse, and I've got my tripod sat up here, and I'm looking this way, up the channel towards the bridges and Sharpness docks, and that's said warehouse. Okay, now I am right on the sea. I'm going to show you top view of this shortly. And like I say, I'm looking up the channel. Now when the tide's in, sometimes the tide comes right up to literally the top of this concrete base which the lighthouse is actually stood on. So you could class that as sea level, although the tide wasn't fully in when I was here. It was coming in, so I just thought I'd state that.
Right, so according to the correct elevation stats, the position he was situated in is 16.6 feet above sea level. If we add the 5 foot of his tripod, that works out at around 21 feet. 21 feet above sea level for this observation.
Anyway, like I said, I'm looking up this direction, and we're going to show you the map now. The distance involved, okay, is here. Might have to zoom in for you. "21 miles essentially, the journey."
Yep, very happy with that. 21 miles, we'll go with it.
All it is, I'm going to be panning out, nothing glamorous, I'm just panning out from that location and showing my location. Panning out, all the way out, all 21 miles away. I'm looking, this is the concrete base I'm stood on, which is what the lighthouse is on. I'm looking down onto the beach, which is probably 8 to 10 feet down there. When the tide comes in, it'll literally come near enough up to the top of that wall. There's the tripod, which is probably 4 feet tall, and here's the Blacknor Lighthouse. Okay? And I'm coming down onto the Nautical Training School, which is just set back. Sorry about that, a bit glitchy there. Bits just set back. But ultimately, I'm right on the beach, yeah? I'm right on the sea. So we're seeing that building from 21 miles away.
All seems very legitimate so far. I can't argue with anything he said at all so far. I better get a fork for that humble pie.
If we run that through the curve chart, let's see what we come up with. I've given myself a viewer height of 10 feet.
10 feet? Why? Your tripod by your own admission is at least 4 feet, and you said that it was at least 8 to 10 feet down to the beach. That's 12 to 14 feet. However, you're wrong on all accounts here. As we ascertained earlier, the viewer height is 21 feet, 16 feet above sea level plus your tripod. But I'll be kind and say your tripod's 4 feet, so we'll call it 20 feet in total. Are we trying to fudge the numbers here, Adam?
And essentially the target should have been hidden. 195 feet should have been hidden. Can you see that there? That building, I was told by the lady at the docks, is 65 metres. That's 195 feet.
No, 65 metres is 213 feet. So even with your dodgy numbers, there still should be some of that tower visible. Let's put the proper numbers in, shall we? So with the correct viewer height of 20 feet, we get a hidden value of 160 feet. I'm not even going to account for refraction, which we should be doing, by the way. That means at least 50 feet of that building should be visible.
Essentially, the whole of that building should not have been seen. None of it. And we pretty much can see all of it. There is some miraging, I get that, but we can pretty much see all of it, yeah?
I'm glad you mentioned the miraging. If we go back to his original freeze frame, you can clearly see a good example of a Fata Morgana, which is a form of superior mirage due to the refraction of light. You might notice that you can see a flipped image at the base of the bridge footings. If we draw a line in like this, then we can clearly see the actual horizon. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that does not look like our building is completely visible. I'd say, just under half is visible, and that ties in a lot more with what we'd expect to see. This humble pie I've got here, Adam, you're more than welcome to it if you like. What's that? You've got more? Blimey now, go on then.
Now what makes this really interesting is when we go to this. We've seen a 21-mile distance. Lovely. Now we're going to do the elevation stats on that to cross-reference. Just get that here a minute. I've gone from Black Nor Lighthouse, this is so telling, to Sharpness Docks.
Oh no, not again.
Dock Road, Sharpness, Berkeley. The journey, I'm not really interested in it because it's a walk. It says 28 miles, but that's because I've done it on walk to get the elevation stats. But what really is the giveaway, I've gone up 860 feet. I've come down 860 feet. Notice, flat, plain.
Adam, I've explained this before, buddy. Elevation is not curvature. Here, listen. If I start at the base of Everest and climb to the top of Everest, my elevation has changed by 29,000 feet in the space of a few miles. Explain that.
Here's the elevation of the journey. I'm looking up the channel. I'm at the lighthouse, viewing the dock building. It's showing us sea is fucking level, excuse the swearing. And it's showing the elevation of my journey. But ultimately, the elevation stats are confirming what I'm viewing.
What, that you're viewing from a position next to the sea, an object that is also next to the sea? That's not groundbreaking, nor does it disprove curvature. In fact, when you break it all down, your observations have actually proven curvature quite nicely, so thanks for that.
I've gone from Vancouver in Canada to groovy old city of New Orleans.
Bloody hell, he's off again. He does another one as well. Look.
We'll continue. We've gone from Perth to Sydney. One side of Australia, the other, to 3,722 kilometres.
And another.
Calais, France. And we're going all the way down to... I don't even know where this is. Where is this? Valencia. Beg your pardon. So we're going from the most northerly part of France, Calais, to sort of southeast of Spain.
You'll notice he sticks with the coast-to-coast locations as well. He never learns.
Folks, if you're not convinced, you should be now. The Earth is flat. The globe is dead.
I'm surprised you're even able to talk still with all the humble pie spilling from your mouth. What an absolute mess of a video. Well, there we have it, people. Another complete destruction of yet another flat earth proof video. I shall await his scathing response with bated breath. After all, everyone has now seen the video he was moaning about. The problem is, it's actually proven curvature. How embarrassing is that? Thanks, Adam, for doing my job for me. Thanks again to everyone who has subscribed. We are winging our way to 3,000. I'm extremely grateful to all of you. If you like this video and you haven't subscribed yet, you should hop on for the ride as well. See you all again next week and enjoy the weekend. Goodbye.